More examples here. We're going to read through these because this is just miscellaneous. It's catching everything we've seen. So Sophia is a 25-year-old who has been living with her parents, John and Laura, for the entire year. She is a full-time student and does not have any income. Can John and Laura claim Sophia as a dependent on their tax return? In this case, yes, John and Laura can claim Sophia as a dependent on their return. Sophia is going to be a qualifying child under IRS rules because she's a full-time student under the age of 24, had the same principal residence as her parents for more than half of the year. She's got no income, so we don't have to worry about the gross income test. With these, feel free to cover up part of your screen, take a look, quiz yourself, make flashcards of these. We'll obviously have many examples, multiple choice questions, flashcards, all that. But yeah, it never hurts to have more, and I know a lot of people like to do it themselves as well. Next up, Alice owns 2 cats and a dog. Can she claim any of her pets as dependents on her tax return? Jokingly, this is a question you may see, but pets cannot be dependents. Sorry, I've had a dog, I've had a cat. They're great, but we cannot claim them as dependents. Pets do not qualify as dependents for tax purposes. Next up, Steve is Sarah and Kate's uncle. He lives with them and they support him financially. Great, appreciate that. Awesome, you're doing wonders. Can Sarah and Kate claim Steve as a dependent on their tax return? Well, they can potentially claim him. We didn't give enough information here because we don't know anything about percentage of support or anything. They can potentially claim Steve as a dependent on their tax return as he is a qualifying relative. An uncle is considered a qualifying relative since Steve lives with them, and they provide financial support. He may meet the other requirements for being a qualifying relative. These requirements include the gross income test and the support test. As long as Steve meets the criteria, they can claim him as a dependent. On one of their returns. Again, you may see a question where it asks you, it doesn't have everything. You may have to say, oh, what possibly could happen? And this is an example of that. Could they possibly claim him? And then, what else would we have to consider? This is what else we'd have to consider. More examples here. Tom and Jane's son, Michael, lives with them for the entire year and they support him financially. Michael earned $6,000 for the year. Yay, Michael. In this example year, the allowable amount is $10,000. Can they claim him as a dependent on their return? Yes, they can claim Michael as a dependent. Michael is a qualifying relative under IRS rules because he lived with them for the entire year and they supported him financially. Although he earned $6,000, it's still below the allowable amount for qualifying relative. There's really no difference for qualifying child and relative unless we get to credits and all that. But we're not going to worry about that until we get to that lesson. But for our purposes here, as long as they qualify under one, that's kind of the thing, is what we have to decide. David and Rachel are married. They have 2 children, both of whom are under 18 years old. It's already looking good. Can they claim both of their children as dependents on their tax return? Yes, they can claim both of the children as dependents. Both children are under 18 years old, and they meet the residency and relationship tests. Again, some of these examples have checkboxes that mark all of the checks that you have to consider. Some just have a few. I'm just giving you as many examples as possible. Mark is a 20-year-old full-time student. He's been living with his grandfather, James, so changing it up, not a parent, to grandfather for more than half the year. James has been supporting Mark financially. Can James claim Mark as a dependent? Yes, James can claim Mark as a dependent on his tax return. Mark is a qualifying relative under these rules because he lived with James for more than half the year, and James supported him financially. Since Mark has no income, the gross income test is not going to apply here. Getting these ideas, these thoughts through, making sure you're familiar. The more you see, the better off everything will be for you. All right, 2 more slides and we'll be done. Michael and Margaret connected at a December 31st celebration during year 12, marking the end of the year. Their connection was immediate, leading to a passionate romance, and they exchanged vows at 11:59 p.m. on the same evening. I'm not an expert. I don't know what's considered married, if they have to actually file any paperwork with the state or anything, but for the purposes of the test, this would be considered a marriage. Don't think about it too past that. We're not marriage counselors or legal professionals in this sense. What is Margaret's tax filing classification, and also Michael's? For tax purposes, the taxpayer status as either single or married if filing jointly is dependent upon the status at the end of the year. Since Margaret came in sliding last second, married by the end of the year, she can file married filing jointly. And they can also do married filing separately. Might want to do that if you just got married with someone that night. Not my place to judge, though. Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.